This is the ultimate productivity hack. If you're looking for a system that integrates the accessibility of a digital calendar and the satisfaction and organization of paper and pen. I specifically want to show you how using both is actually the most effective way to be productive and use your time. And the best part is you no longer have to choose a team. If you've already purchased your daily design planner, I want to thank you for your support. This really was a labor of love, and I'm releasing it with utmost excitement. I've been printing these sheets off for years now, and I've been adjusting them and refining them, and finally decided that they're ready to be released and shared with you. Now, don't worry, if you don't have your copy yet, I'm going to leave you a link in the description below. You go ahead and order that whenever you're ready. In today's video, I am going to show you how the Daily Design Planner supports your digital calendar. In this case, it's going to be Google for ultimate productivity while still leaving time for play. Timestamps will be in the description below because here we're all about maximizing your time and unlocking your full potential. Now, let's dive in and head straight into Google. I love Google Calendar. It's free and simple to use while still able to handle all the moving parts of my business and my family and personal life. As you'll see, I color code both my digital and my paper planner because over time I have realized that I'm able to train my brain to associate these colors with the amount of mental and or physical energy it's going to need to output. So very quickly, let me describe what's going on here. These are the calendars that I have created for myself. These are the theme days that I have within each block. There's actually a breakdown, but we'll discuss that in a bit. Down here are calendars that I subscribe to, including this is my business account. This is all my client calls, videos that I'm going to be showing up for, podcast interviews. Everything's in there, and I can actually click it on, and it'll show up on here. I have my kids' work schedule, and my favorite is Plan to Eat. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have heard me talk about this a million times. It is the greatest meal planning app ever. And if you look, it actually shows you right here the meal plans that I already have. I can click on that, it takes me right to the recipe. Next, very quickly, to create your own here, you just go into settings and down here, add calendar and create. I'm not going to dive into that today. If you would like a separate video on that, please comment calendar below, and I'm happy to record that for you. The last little thing in this section that I want to discuss is tasks. So these are a to-do list, but I only do it here because they're reoccurring events that I have. So I'll show you next week's right here. I water my plants right before I sit down for my strategy session. I do this every week. For some reason, I forget if it's not on here. But because the calendar is the first thing I open when I go to get ready for my strategy session, it pops up and reminds me. You just click it off and it will disappear for you there. So I love utilizing that bar for reoccurring items on my to-do list. Now, let's get back to today's video. Once you've decided on your categories, and just keep in mind these will change and you can always add as you go and as you refine your calendar. But we want to start planning our weeks with reoccurring time blocks. So for example, content creation is first thing on Mondays for me. Not only do I love the creative process of creating content, but during my strategy Sunday session, I always do a quick audit both of how I managed my time and any downloads that I've jotted down throughout the week, questions that I've had in my inbox or I overheard standing in line at the grocery store. Basically anything, I just kind of catalog it really quickly, and it gives me a ton of ideas for the upcoming week's content. It's one of the reasons why it's first thing on Mondays for me. So like I said earlier, inside of these major blocks, I have a vague description of what tasks I will be tackling. As you see here in content creation, I will use this block of time to either edit reels or create graphics for social media, for newsletters. Essentially, this is the block of time that I will spend a ton of time inside of Canva. So when I schedule these, you'll see it's here for 10 times. When I'm creating these reoccurring blocks, I make sure that I have the repeat on. Now, I typically do 10 to 12 times as I do a quarterly audit of my business and my time. And there are different focus points in every season for me. So having this digital calendar gives me a bird's eye view of what my time will be spent on. Additionally, if I'm out at an event or something pops up and I'm not at home, I always have my availability with me. And I believe that when you're building your business, you don't ever want to miss out on opportunities by telling someone you'll get back to them once you have time to look at your calendar, unless honestly you're using that as an excuse to get out of something and you just need more time to come up with a reason why you don't want to go. In that case, I highly recommend that you just be honest and say it's not for you at the time. 90% of what you see here is recurring week to week, and the white spaces will fill up as things come up. But for the most part, these are the non negotiables. Even if they get shimmied sometimes, they will get done. Speaking of shimmies, this is another reason why the digital calendar is fantastic. Just the ease of the drag and drop abilities makes things super easy. And with Google, you can choose if today's the only time you want to move it, or if perhaps you've signed up for a fitness class, you know it's at 2 o'clock, you can just shimmy the following events. So I'm just going to cancel that really quickly because I don't want to change anything. Now, again, this video is about how to support your goals and your digital calendar day to day using the Daily Design Planner. But that doesn't mean you have to do any of that to use the planner. And it's the reason I included the monthly calendars inside your planners so that if you don't want to do the digital part, you can quickly jot down inside your book the overview of what you want your month to look like. I even love using little sticky notes inside of there just to give you the drag and drop feel on your paper planner. So now we're going to actually switch over to our daily design planner, and we're going to use Thursday as the example to map out our day. Looking on my Google Calendar for Thursday, the first thing I have is connection, which includes dealing with my inbox in Telegram, Voxer, and my social media DMs. So my very first priority will be social media messages. That way I can get through all those messages today. The next thing on my list on Thursdays is usually my email. I want to get through all the inbox stuff and answer the emails that require my attention, send out the emails that I've been meaning to get to, organize the inbox so there's nothing left uncategorized. If you guys are interested in how I actually organize my inbox, I'd be happy to show you that. Just go ahead and message in the comments and I'll just create a separate video just showing you quickly how I get to that elusive inbox zero. The third priority for today will be to get 10 pages done of a handbook that I am working on for a client of mine. Down here, if you look, I also have a spot for things if I have time. So once I get through that, I can tackle these if there's time. And because I'm working in my inbox, I'm actually going to add a 10 to 15 minute block of dealing with subscriptions in my email list. So this is basically going in, taking those couple of minutes and physically unsubscribing from emails that I've subscribed through for promotional purposes or to anybody that purchased my email from some third party. So I want to clear that out. I typically have a unsubscribed folder I drop things into there, but I also like to clear that folder out as much as I can. Next, we're going to break down our 3 priorities. So the first one is dealing with social media messages. So I'm going to tackle Telegram. I'm going to tackle a Voxer. I'm going to tackle my social media. So this is going to be Instagram and Facebook. I do this together because I just use Meta Suites and it's very quick in there. The fourth thing will be to answer urgent emails. So reply to emails. And then I'm also going to include send emails. This is my other stuff. So this could be setting up plans with my girlfriends or inquiring about camps for my daughter for the summer. And you can actually, if you have specific names you want to get in touch with, I've created a calm email list right here that is also super handy. So the next thing I want to tackle in here is my 10 pages for the resource book. And I want to get my QR codes for those 10 pages. I want to get my hyperlinks for those pages. So as you can see, you take your bigger goal, you break it down a little bit farther. And then we still have some space here. So the one thing I want to make super clear, this is not meant to overwhelm you. This is to simplify your life so you can have a clear view of what actions you need to take during work and at home, which we'll get to. But you don't have to fill all these spaces. Now, what's nice in here is you can actually break things down farther. For example, yes, I'll get my hyperlinks, but then I'll add them to the handbook, but I'll also add them to my Rolodex. I'm aging myself here. I also like to do a regular brain time session. So if I have time, I'll throw that on in here as well. So brain dump sesh if I have time. So next we're going to focus on proud moments. So often we're busy with this that we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things that we already do. I find vitamins very important, but I get so caught up sometimes that I forget. And I've already done that today, so vitamins done. All right. These don't have to be anything humongous, but they are minor accomplishments that just kind of bring your energy up by bringing attention to them. Next, you have appointments, obviously self-explanatory here. Just plug them in with the exact time. These aren't typically movable, so they're there for you. Daily routines. I have predetermined these for you. And if you follow me on Instagram, I speak about these regularly and how they really support our personal integrity and confidence and create an environment that is just less chaotic. So I will make my bed first thing in the morning before I ever come downstairs. Around 4 o'clock, I tidy my desk. This really signals to my brain that we are done for the day, at least for desk work. And then after dinner, I close out the kitchen. It's just so refreshing to come into a clean space in the morning that these are three things that just have become so habitual and yet foundational in my mental health as well as my productivity. And then after dinner, I close out the kitchen. It's just so refreshing to come into a clean space in the morning that these are three things that just have become so habitual and yet foundational in my mental health as well as my productivity. I have the home to-do list. If you noticed, we had our work stuff here. I like to keep this separate but close so that you can compare the two. This includes everything from prepping dinner, running groceries, throwing in a load of laundry. In this section, I even include things like have a hot tub date with my daughter or a country drive with my son as he's learning how to drive standard. So really, it's whatever's going on in the house that will need your attention, it goes in here. Next, thoughts and ideas. We're constantly bombarded with information and can easily get sidetracked with things we don't want to forget. So they tie up space in our minds. So this is why I've included this section. It's a quick place to have it jot down, as this book is usually right beside me so that I can stay on track. Fitness and exercise. Okay. Full disclosure, I don't love exercising like at all, but I love how I feel when I exercise. I love my reason for why I exercise, and I also know the benefit of it. I wholeheartedly believe that if we do not take care of our bodies, we can't take care of our business or anyone else for that matter. You are the glue, you are the foundation for your very existence and your success. Maybe you have a yoga class you're going to. I like to make sure we add in those 10K steps a day and then maybe a intermittent stretch if you'd like. All right, right here, we're just going to backtrack one. This is drink up. This supports my previous point. Water is crucial to our health. It helps flush out bad. It helps your skin look amazing. I'm sure you've heard it all before. So my recommendation is always drink a minimum
of half your weight in water. So if you're 100 pounds, you want to drink at least 50 ounces of water. I also like to put in a pinch of salt in my water first thing in the morning. You don't really taste it, but it helps you absorb it and utilize it a lot better. So you're going to take whatever the ounces are that you need, divided by 8, and that's what each of these cups will represent for you. Maybe you have a yoga class you're going to. I like to make sure we add in those 10K steps a day. For emails and calls, like I said, I just want to keep track of what emails I need to send out during this block here. So you can fill that in, make sure you don't forget. Let's be honest, we do our best thinking while we are doodling. There's no rhyme or reason to it. We do it while we're on the phone. It just for some reason helps your brain focus. So I love having this little doodle sketch part added to our planner. I guarantee you'll utilize it. It doesn't have to be anything. Sometimes ideas actually come out of this. Okay. So utilize it. This is how this book came about. The idea to actually publish it was doodling. So this is the meat and potatoes of our planner. This is the main pages that we're focusing on day in, day out. But I've also included my life-changing brain dump process, the parking lot. So I've left you some space here for quarterly or a date, depending on how you're wanting to track it. And here's where I park all my thoughts. So I can take the stuff that have popped up here at the end of the day and categorize it here for the quarter. This is a super effective auditing system for your thoughts that are taking up space in your brain. Sometimes you need a more broad place to brain dump. This is where I spend my 10 minutes of cleaning out my brain. It's the forget me not section. This is the stuff that is so mundane, like pick up socks, wash the sheets, you know, look into trademarks, call the bank. Like these are the ideas that distract us while we work. That 10-minute block, this is where I'm going to vomit all my ideas onto. And then when I have time, I will categorize them into my parking lot.
All right, if you're ready to dive in even deeper, really customize your calendar and your time to your specific goals and desires, then come on over to Instagram, DM me. We'll set up a custom close proximity coaching session. And in the meantime, there's a ton of bingeable content in there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay inspired, stay productive. Bye for now.